Hi, welcome to Fight Did It, a show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from any world and beyond. Oh, man, wait, too phlegmy, too close to home.
I got a bit of a cold.
Costing us a fortune every time.
Me too, man.
A fortune.
Must be some chemical attack affecting both coasts, man.
I blame Kid Nate.
Man.
I was about to leak the heel turn, but I remembered to save it.
Yeah, good for you. You're on point. Make up for last week.
Last week I was brilliant.
Oh man, well, you weren't paying attention, Mr.
One little thing because I was concentrating on something else. I was 7 Stratego moves ahead, as they say.
Oh, Stratego.
Oh, and in a case of divine convergence, and
I gotta say, I stole that joke from Chapo Trap House, so I don't want anybody to accuse me of plagiarizing.
Joe Rogan will show up in your spot, put you on blast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Alexi Old.
Like he knows what Chapo Trap House is. All right, go ahead.
I know what Chapo Trap House is. I'm your host, and joining me as always, Kid Nate Bloody Elbow and Eugene S. Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Ass Kicking, but were afraid you'd get your ass kicked for asking. Collectively, MMA Pancholes.
Pancholes! We should have some lame verbal fucking tick that we do. Like, we are the three amigos. Like Steve Martin and
that's right.
Martin Short, that terrible.
What was it?
That's a classic.
I love that movie. It was great. I loved it.
Who was the third one? Steve Martin or Billy Crystal? I forget.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. Okay, there you go.
And then the Chevy Chase comedy roast, Steve Martin and Martin Short couldn't be there, but they telescreened in from the set of Three Amigos 2 with them and Nathan Lane. So,
oh Lord.
Did they mention that? Did they make reference?
Oh yeah, that was the whole joke. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, no.
It was
Nathan Lane. Anyway, unless he loves this show. Eugene, you're the UFC. After winning his co-main matchup in Brazil last Saturday, Colby Covington put the crowd on blast, live and in public, if you will. Quote, Brazil, you're a dump. All you filthy animals suck. End quote. He followed up with the fake formal apology. With your brand desperately desirous of personalities, why censor Colby's attempt to be the bull of the woods?
Well, there are a lot of things you could do. You could bring that guy back who was sponsored by the Fourth Reich clothing line or whatever clothing line that was. I mean, Zeitgeist is better suited for, a bald-faced Nazi than it. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, because there's certain things like that guy met at a party. I'll do anything, he says. I'm a great salesman. I'll do anything for $1. I'll do anything. I go, really? He goes, yeah, anything you want. I'll go to any length. I go, why don't you sell guns, drugs? Make the margins on those are great. He goes, well, I don't want to do anything illegal. I go, guns are not illegal. He goes, well, I don't want to do anything that hurts people. Oh, well, that cuts out a lot. What happened to the anything? The reality of it is anything is not going to build this brand. Anything, anything. Like Mike Tyson said, I could sell out Madison Square Garden jerking off. Yeah, you know what? You probably could, but that's not a brand anybody's building anything on. So I mean, clearly, in fact, in ways it surprised even me. Like the Baldwin came out, and they had the pretty corner office guy come out to where we don't approve of this. It's like you want to be Chael Sonnen, you be a smart Chael Sonnen, not a stupid Chael Sonnen. You want to make it correct. I mean, the people who could get it got it pretty quickly, and with Chael Sonnen, and the stupid people kind of wondered what the smart people were laughing about and just dummied up. In this instance, there's no, that country, Tamer is in, the Lula and the Dilma Rousseff, which is in the prison. The country is like 2 shakes of a snake's tail away from going back to military dictatorship. Shootings are rampant. I mean, it's got problems, and it's not, people are not scraping together how many reals they need to get for a ticket, to be treated like crap by American no names. Sorry, no name. So I think to censor the guy was the right thing. If that's the best smack he's got, sorry, take a number.
Man, what about you, Nate?
The UFC did what they had to do because the guy has no game. I mean, Chael knows how to walk the line. You say some untoward, unflattering, bigoted things in America about Brazilians, and then you go down to Brazil and you kind of tease it, but then in the end, you say something nice to the fans that paid their money to watch you fight. And so, I mean, Homeboy did accomplish his goal, which is his name is definitely on everybody's tongue coming out of that card. So, you know, he's part of a new wave of welterweights. So there's something to be excited about. He proved it in the cage, which is half the equation and probably the more important half. But if you really wanted to be clever, like learn a couple sentences in Portuguese and say something shitty, you know? Like, and maybe even divide the crowd, like say something about a certain segment of Brazilians, and then nobody can diss on you, but you'll still get the heat and the hate and the attention, but you don't look like just a buffoon. I mean, now he's dissing
an ugly American.
An ugly American. Like, what if somebody came, you know, what if one of these Dagestani guys came here and said something like that about Americans? He wouldn't make it out of the arena alive. Like, he just wouldn't. And so, you know, just have some respect for your hosts. I mean, it's just human civilization 101. You're in a foreign country. Have some manners to the people that are hosting you, that are not dragging you out and lynching you. So, yeah. Now, the UFC did what they had to do. Covington, I give him half points. Like, and it's a crude first attempt, but we're talking about him. So, I got to give him some points for that. We are talking about him.
I think what he was trying to do also was there's this angle going on in TNA with American Top Team and Dan Lambert going off on the people, you know, wrestling fans and how he's a real fan. And, you know, Colby Covington's there along with other teammates, you know. So it's one of these situations where those promos are great in terms of like old school heat and MMA versus wrestling and all that kind of stuff. And it's almost as if he was in that kind of environment where it's actually working. And he's like, oh, I'll just do this for the UFC, you know, and just not realizing the fact that you can't just blindly ape, oh, I'm a heel. It's going to work. And then, you know, when you get called out for it, no, I was just, you know, I was just kind of, I was making jokes. I was trying to promote the fight. It's like, oh.
Yeah, but, you know,
did Chael Sonnen or Connor McGee ever say, no, I'm just, come on, guys, it's just jokes. I'm just trying to gin up a fight. Come on, guys. Like, you don't do that if you're a heel.
Well, look, you know, I mean, there's a certain functioning intelligence that you got to get a sense of glimmering behind the eyes to make something like that work. Lee Ving, the singer of this band called Fear, used to get up and say stuff like, you know, this song is for the land of the free and the homos too. Now, you know, you didn't really think that he had anything. The intent was that he was coming to San Francisco and calling people in San Francisco homos because of, you know, Castro Street Fair and a long history of being liberal, that he had a real issue with it. He was understandably trying to get under your skin. But this wasn't that. This was a guy speaking in anger and, words that to a certain degree were true, and which he backed up, and every subsequent attempt to mitigate the damage that was done. He goes, look, you weren't exposed to what I was exposed to. They were throwing things at me. They were threatening me. So, well, what about your teammates who are from Brazil at ATT? You know, those guys are fucking cliques. They stick to themselves. Fuck them. I don't care about them. You know what? At a certain point, you're going to discover the hard way. A guy needs friends, and that works all kinds of ways, man. You know, oh, fuck, I ran out of gas. You know, well, you think the guys on your team from Brazil see you by the side of the road, walking down, doing a walk of shame with a gas can, they're going to stop? Fuck no. In fact, if I was them, I would slow down and say, hey, Corby, how you doing, man? And then I would drive off. Man,
see, in situations where this kind of worked, though, when you saw Ally Kinsa going off, like that worked, right? Because there wasn't anything, you know, there's a situation where there was rage and he was raging.
Well, it's a matter in which you frame that rage that makes all the difference in the world, right?
Yep. Speaking of framing, Nate, your UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
Man, the camera loves you, Eugene. I think it's stuck on you. Stuck on you.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I'm Michael Bisping.
How do you promote your upcoming UFC 217 main event matchup this weekend against GSP in wake of a TMZ report alleging you assaulted a teenager?
Well, I mean, he's taking the full-on attack the kid course. So, and Dana White's piling on. Dana White's calling the kid the P word, which I'm too big of a P to say now.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
That's right. And it's not even a sexist term. It derives from pusillanimous or something. Like, you know the word, Eugene. One of you guys, law school boy, you know the word.
Pusillanimous means cowardly.
Yes, exactly. That's how it derives, because anybody with any understanding of anatomy knows that a pussy is actually not
pretty
at
tough.
all like can definitely and like Betty White says, it can those things can take a pounding. Now testicles, those are delicate. So yeah, no, I think the whole thing is, if he actually assaulted the kid, that's a whole different kettle of fish. That's a criminal matter and a civil suit matter. So he's going to have to defend that shit in court. And anything he says in this context, he's got to bear that in mind. Your public statements are liable to show up back in the courtroom. So he can't go too overboard with the full frontal attack. Now, Dana White can say whatever the fuck he wants, because he's not going to be deposed in a lawsuit about Michael Bisping, because he wasn't in the gym when the kid was allegedly strangled. So I think Bisping has a bit of a tightrope to walk, but third-party validation, courtesy of Dana White, is okay. But honestly, why even bother responding to this? I would just be like, hey, kid's filing suit, can't talk about it. I'm denying everything, and that's that. You don't need to personally insult the kid. So insult to injury, too much.
How about you, Eugene?
I worked out in my first gym, I think in 1977, 78. I almost got murdered in that gym, but outside of that, I never almost murdered anybody. So that's like up until, I went to my last gym about 2 weeks ago to do some running. So, I'm not wound tightly. I'm not a pro MMA fighter. It's got a lot riding on it. So, you're talking about the PR response. I'm talking about the likelihood of the event of me strangling people in the gym and how this will tie into his upcoming to-do with GSP. It could be that he's tuned up just right for this, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kid Nate on this. Once things get where somebody says, excuse me, are you Michael Bisping? And you go, yeah, and they hand you a summons to appear, at that point, you got to understand that, or just do like Sean Penn, just have a punch fund. And it's like, if this is the way you're going to roll, just figure out how much you can take. Deputize your attorney to say, whatever problems I have, see if you can buy them off at 20 grand and, let me be on my way. But yeah, antagonizing this kid, I've had lawyers try to antagonize me in my lawsuit against Sony and so on. And I tell you, the antagonism is what made me dig in my heels and fight it. This is really a situation in which when people are going after your cash, being nice as possible guarantees that you will have to give away less of that cash. If you don't care about the cash, you just want to go through the world being a hellhead, cool. Have a fund, a punch fund.
Hellhead?
Yeah, that's my old drummer used to use that back in like 1987.
I see. Hellhead.
He was from Staten Island, so I don't know what that means.
Well, one person who a lot of people allegedly don't know what he means anymore. Eugene, your UFC middleweight championship contender, George St. Pierre.
Yes, I am.
You thought the UFC's claim that you were yesterday's news was fake news. So how do you explain the low interest in your return fight this Saturday night?
Well, if I am GSP, I have many excuses or reasons. What is a timeout for?
Timeout. The last time we tried to do the bad accent bit, it was universally panned. I laughed.
Except by us, we loved it.
We loved it. Every viewer hated it.
Your bad accent was universally reviled. My bad accent.
If we had done redneck, I could have gone all day, and it would have been brilliant.
My bad accent was Academy, the Oscar.
Well, your French Canadian accent is not whatever.
Well, continue. You must answer the question. Let's put it to the fans. Let's put
Black
some fans.
Jacques.
Answer the question,
They're begging us to stop. They're already
A
begging us to
GSP
stop.
accent.
Oh, they're begging. I can't see the comments. They're begging.
They're begging for more. Come on. Can't you feel it?
Let me give you my
viewers. People are tuning out in droves.
Oh, come on.
I'll give you my PayPal number. You can pay me to stop. Look, if you're GSP, you can.
French Canadian accent.
Oh yes. I'm saying. As GSP, I must say that.
How can you not love that?
Nate is just a hater.
Oh,
That's
Lord.
He's a hater. That's all. No, you must say that there are many reasons to believe that I do not have it, but people will come and see my wrestling has improved, my stand-up has improved. I am not very impressed with Bisping smack talk. I'm not good at it myself. I will beat him like a bad habit. I will tap him like a typewriter. I will peel him back like a potato and wad him up into a little ball. Outside of that, I got nothing. Nobody gives a fuck about my lay and pray style, which is unfortunate, but I will come out victorious Saturday morning, I believe. I mean, what?
You got to repeat the whole question because I have no idea what he was talking about.
He was cruising porn again. There you go.
I was not cruising porn. My hands were myself. My eyes were forward. I was lost in the terrible accent.
Nate, you are UFC Middleweight Championship contender George St. Pierre. You thought the UFC's claim that your yesterday's news was fake news. So how do you explain the low interest in your return fight this Saturday night, mon ami?
I've been in the dark place. The dark place.
I was in the upside down, man.
You missed my brilliant accent, Eugene. It was
God damn
it. Magnifique.
Well, you got that. Wait, it's not French. It's French Canadian.
French Canadian. I even referenced the dark place from 2 fights ago. I was about to reference the race car beds and a race car bed. Isn't it adorable? He sleeps in a little single bed that looks like a race car in his parents' house.
GSPU again.
And I was also going to make a joke about how I was not impressed with your performance, huh?
There we go. See, yes,
that was not bad. Hey, people should know that we're getting better. This is actually a feature that's got legs.
I'm telling you, next time redneck accent, I'll do the whole episode as a redneck.
What fun is that? That's like me doing a New York accent. There's no.
It's funny. It's my best character. It's my go-to. Come on.
We'll do your heel
I'm like David Cross with it.
So anyway,
just making racist remarks.
Yeah.
So what is it, GSP? What's the reason?
It's the dark place. I became so angry, so powerful, so scary, so terrifying. The fans can't handle it. That's it. They're scared I'm going to kill this man.
That's misty.
That's right. And mists does not equal to buy rates, baby.
Yep.
It does not.
Man, but does it equal to your heel turn, Nathan?
My heel turn this week. I'm addressing a rumor I heard. And I normally don't do the insider rumor thing, but this one was just too good. Allegedly, one of the principals of the UFC returned some money to WME when the buyout happened in order to stay involved with the promotion. To which I say,
that's
take
stupid.
And run, you fucking asshole. We're so sick of you. Go away. I mean, this guy has been beyond a thorn in my side for a decade or more, and he's phoning it in. Like, if you're gonna phone it in, do it for more money. Don't phone it in for less money. Like, he stayed around just to shit up the place and do a half-assed job. Come on, Mr. I'm not gonna name you, but everybody should know who I'm talking about. That's my heel turn of the week.
Man, I think it's horrible you talk about John Anik like that, man.
I'm assuming it's a guy.
An Anik.
I'm assuming it's the guy that you saw in the mall, but I'm not saying anything.
No,
I would like it. I would like. Oh, God damn it!
Yeah, see, Anik's my size. I'll say whatever the fuck I want about Anik, but this guy's got money and is bigger than me, so I'm not,
Yeah, okay.
Keeping it circumspect.
So, it's not so circumspect as your lost battalion, Eugene.
Well, you know who I'm gonna pick if you watch Knuckle Up. You know. I think we have very possibly a first. We have a guy who won a fight, who got into the Lost Battalion. No spoiler alert for the people who've already watched Knuckle Up. You know that I am picking first and foremost Mr. Derek Brunson. Now, I like a large measure of self-belief. However, we've seen that there's a thin line between a large measure of self-belief and a large measure of self-delusion. Now, after a fight, you're supposed to be ginned up.
I've seen it right here. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. You're supposed to be reaching for the stars. You haven't quite yet discovered that your arms are too short to box with God. Excuse me. You're supposed to be high on life, but when you persist in the press conference, when you persist with tweets and the Sunday and Monday, you're putting us in a position where we really have to question whether or not you have a full grasp and understanding of who it is that you are. And people gave me a hard time about this in the comments. They're like, "Oh, he's credible. He's credible. Really credible." Well, things are so quickly changing. I could see him matched up with who? Well, he could easily be. You know what? Mark my word. Wait, if you ever see, what could I do to put my money where my mouth is? If you ever see Brunson with that belt around his waist in the next 18 months, I will eat a bug. Well, I do that every day anyway, accidentally, I'm sure. But maybe I'll think of something more florid before the segment's over. Anyway, so he's there. Machida is there. Do we have anybody disputing? Anybody disputing? Dude he's and based on his post facto comments, I'd say that quality of self-aware. It's not a huge amount of self-awareness because we can always go back to the videotape. But it is there. Maya, however, through loss, is not in an interesting way. I think he came out of that fight winning. He had a shitty fight plan, which is I'm going to try to create the illusion that I'm not going to win this match how I usually win this match, that I have credible stand-up. Well, people have tried that, and it never works. Just like I can't fake like my jiu-jitsu is black belt level. Can't. I went with a guy the other day, and I held it together for a bit, because I know how to copy black belts. But about 2 minutes from the end, I got that panicked rush that a lower belt gets, and I could see him kind of go, and I knew I was done. Damn. Yeah, I gave the game away. It was like poker. It wasn't a game, was a won or lost based on technique. It was based on, again, belief or delusion. So I think that I don't think the Machida thing doesn't make me sad yet. It will make me sad if he tries to fight the obvious. That will make me very sad. And with a lot of these guys, they could stop in time, and you don't feel. Chuck Liddell fought one fight too many. He was fighting the obvious, and it was painful to see a guy lost battalionized in front of your very eyes. That's painful. But everybody else, they go, you know what? I'm done. There were a couple of guys who retired this week who was like, he goes, I'm retiring. And it was like, who? That kind of hurt too. That's a derivation of the Lost Battalion, where you have a big press conference and issue a statement that you're retiring, and the world goes, yeah, hey, the new Stranger Things is great, isn't it? Man. No, man, I'm retiring. Yeah, that's well, you knew that, and I don't care. So let's go back to talking about the Stranger Things. And the sad fact of the matter is, I can't remember the guy's name. I can see his face in my head.
Walt Harris.
Gerald
Harris.
Yeah, I think whoever retired in the last 6 days.
His last name is Harris.
Yeah, I think so. How do you like that? We don't know. I can see him in my face, but in my head, but his face in my head. But anyway, so those are my entries. But there's somebody said it, and they said it best about Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks is dark-starred if he loses this match on Saturday. And I have to say, Lost Battalion means that you were still somewhat in the public consciousness. So if you want to say, we talk about the Lost Battalion, it's got its own segment. We talk about the Lost Battalion more than any other segment. But the reality of it is, that's not the worst place to be. Dark-starred, that's the worst place to be. The former planet Pluto, what do you think that was named for? God of the underworld. There you go. So Johnny Hendricks becomes Dark Star, where somebody says his name and you don't quite really remember who it is. And I tell you, God's honest truth, that happened to me this morning. I had a momentary thing where Kid Nate said, Johnny Hendricks fight. And I was like, Jimmy. And I just couldn't place the guy. And that's when the guy, like, you're gone. He might re-inject himself into my consciousness if he wins this fight, but if he
calls out GSP.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, that's Dark Star, and I don't think he will. I don't think neither Kid Nate or I picked him in the Care Don't Care preview. So
I think there's going to be a lot of entries in the Lost Battalion this weekend.
Yes,
I think it's going to be record numbers.
It's inevitable, man. But, you know, time is an unforgiving mistress. So,
man, well, on that positive note, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Alexi Alda, Kid Nate, at Facebook at MMA Puncholes, spelled like punch holes. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene. Leave comments, YouTube, subscribe to MMANation.com, YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes, visit Bloody Elbow, buy Oxbow's Thin Black Duke, wherever fine music is sold, and immediately follow the show. Be sure to check out If the Shoes Fit. For those of y'all who are complaining, like, oh, the shows are short, they used to be so long. That's because we broke it up. Some people can't handle MMA and non-MMA together. But for those of you who can, those intelligent individuals, Eugene, what do they have to do? They're going to look below. There's a link.
Right below. So what he's saying is, as soon as we stop this, as soon as we stop talking and your screen goes blank, we're going to jump over to the other link where you can find us doing the second half of the show. Except it's called If the Shoes Fit. You got it? So it's not like we're going away. You don't need to cry. They said they got away, Daddy. No, we're not going away. We're just going to this other place that you can get to by clicking on that fucking link.
That's right. And for this particular show segment, we'll be back next week with another installment if I did it. And we don't know what we're going to be talking about yet, although I think we do, because this UFC event's going to have tons of them. But the PR mistakes have yet to be made.